I brought my vibe coding glasses.
And now we're vibe coding, yes.
My creations are limited to my abilities. But now with AI, I can explore other things. AI can do a lot of stuff. Taste will allow you to know what to ask from it.
Welcome to Prompted. I am Cameron Adams, and I'm fascinated with leaders who are actually using AI to be more creative than ever before. Whether that's building better products, coaching teams, or using AI personally, in this show, we dig into the details of using AI that we all want to know. And today, I am sitting with Pablo Stanley. If you're not familiar with Pablo, his work sits at the intersection of AI and design. And he's also the designer and co-founder of Lumi, a collection of thousands of images made by AI creators who were tired of boring, overused stock photos. And they were recently acquired by Udemy. He's also the co-founder of other AI and creativity companies, including Blush and Mushu. And through his work, he has been exploring how emerging technologies can empower creativity. That means I am incredibly excited to hear the lessons he has to share. Pablo, welcome to the show.
Oh man, thank you for having me. This is so cool. This is so important that you're doing this kind of podcast and talking about the little robots, as I like to call them. I like to. Do you also give it a personality to the AIs and the LLMs, or am I the only one on this?
My wife and I have had conversations about this, and we decided to just start calling it Alex. So whenever we refer to Alex, like my wife will be like, I just chatted to Alex, and I'll be like, oh, what did Alex say?
I love that. I love like actually having a name and something between you. Both of you know what you're talking about.
Exactly. So let's kick off with the prompt. This is the part of the show where we get an idea out of Pablo's head and onto the page. Then we get one of our designers here at Canva to take it even further with AI. So Pablo, I want to have you draw something from your childhood that inspired you while you tell us the story about it. You get 90 seconds to talk and draw. Do you think you can multitask?
Oh my God. Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right. So grab your marker. Let's set the timer and go.
Okay, so I'm talking about the little robots. I was just talking about calling AI that. And I think it's because I grew in the age of seeing robots as the coolest thing ever, you know, in the movies, in the cartoons. Popular culture was just infested with different versions of robots. And even before AI, you know, the idea of having machines that have a personality, are they alive or are they not? They themselves questioning that, and us as humans also that. And as a kid, I think, I don't know if I was able to actually question those stuff, but now a little bit older, I realized how that influenced me and a lot of things in my drawings, in my doodling and everything. I remember the Jetsons and also RoboCop and Blade Runner, the idea that also that robots were not accepted and there was this dystopia. So we're there. Okay.
I know you're an amazing doodler, Pablo, so I am so keen to see what you have drawn. I hope it's less Blade Runner and more Jetsons.
Yeah, it's a little bit more Jetson. It's this little robot, happy little robot. I think I'm very inspired by robots with the square kind of things and metal. We used to think that robots would be like that, like bulky machines. Let's go back to that idea of what we thought robots were going to be back in the 60s.
I would definitely back any startup that has you as the chief robot creator, Pablo. So please help me fund it.
Okay, let's do it.
That is an amazing looking sketch. I'm not sure that AI is going to make it any better, but we're going to send that picture to Elvin, our designer in residence, who is going to team up with AI to whip it into something new. We'll reveal Pablo, Elvin, and AI's creation at the end of this episode, so stay tuned for it. While Elvin works, though, let's go deep on AI with you, Pablo. You ready?
Yes.
So AI continues to be a hot topic for professional creatives, but you have not shied away from it. What would your elevator pitch be to creatives who are hesitant about using AI, or maybe just haven't taken the time to embrace it?
I think this comes from fear of the unknown and comes from also what you see out there, what people are saying. Some people, I think, they make their decision about like using AI or try giving it a try before they even try it. And also, I think it's because the first iterations of what AI was making were pretty bad. So it was pretty easy to just laugh at that and say like, "Oh, okay, this is horrible."
I think that's one of the key things is that it moves so fast and the quality has changed even in the space of 3 months that you need to reuse these things and check out what the latest is in order to really understand what's going on.
Yeah, a year ago we were laughing about just hands that had six fingers or had like weird limbs or things that were not there, you know. So it was really easy to say like, "Oh, that's just like dismiss it because of those faults." And we got to that point where that is not an issue anymore. It's about curiosity and trying to bring it on something. It's not only with AI, any technology, try to use it on something. Usually I say something dumb, because something that is low risk, dumb project, just a silly idea. And then you're going to get to test it out. And then you're going to start seeing what it can actually do and how it could actually connect to real work.
I think low risk is a really good phrase because it
Yeah.
gives you that space and the safety net to try it out. And spotting those low risk moments, I think, is really critical. Raises the question though, everything is moving so fast. New tools come out, improvements happen to existing tools. How do you stay on top of it while still getting your everyday work done? Because you could spend all day just investigating AI tools and trying out new things without actually producing what you need to.
Yeah, it gets to a point where you have to make a decision, and they all cost money, dude. Do you remember there used to be these the browser wars,
Yep.
and like a one browser would do one thing and then the other browser would copy it and also implement that feature, and they were just like, we as users were benefiting from that competition.
Yep.
And I feel a lot of these tools are looking at each other too, and they are competing. And they're also like, suddenly, if the competition does has a feature that people are finding really useful, it's very possible that they're looking at that and they're going to implement something similar. So I would also say that as a user, once a lot of our decisions were based on FOMO, on like, oh, I don't want to miss out on this feature that this other tool has. They all have very similar features now. So even if you select one and you stick to one, you're still going to get good results, and you're not going to be missing out a lot.
Yeah, as an AI product company, it's really interesting times because you are seeing common patterns emerge in how people interact with it, but it's still
Yeah,
frontier lands. Like there's an
exactly.
amazing amount to explore and help people interact with AI in very different ways, particularly in the visual realm. So it's still a pretty cool time when you're creating these products and coming up with new ways for people to interact with them. Speaking of which, you have started multiple AI based businesses. So I'm really eager to hear how AI is transforming the experience that you have of being an entrepreneur and a leader. So, what unique problem were you trying to solve with your business, Lumi?
It started just with the basic stuff, Like, I remember we used to say like, "Oh, let AI do the boring stuff, the things that you don't want to do." I still believe that, but sometimes I do wonder if we're actually delegating to AI the cooler stuff. I worry about that, like that we're actually we humans are doing the boring stuff. Just say yes, keep going. No, don't do that. Instead of actually doing the thing, instead of being the one surfing where we're on the sidelines looking at the robot surf and saying like, no, you're doing the surfing wrong. but the robot is doing the surfing. It's the fun part, So sometimes I worry about that. By the way, I don't surf. I don't know why I used that
so,
analogy.
so what did Lumi do that was trying to counteract that?
It's that ideation part where you're iterating and you're feeling like you are collaborating with. Again, I'm going to keep using the little robots thing, or Alex, as you called it. Uh, uh, Working with the robot in a way that it doesn't feel like that like it's doing all of the work for you and you're actually collaborating, you're iterating. I like that, and seeing LLMs, diffusion models, all of these tools in a way where I feel like I still have some kind of the control, and it's more of a collaboration between the human and the machine. So in Lumi, we try to bring that in, and that is in offering different options and then allowing you to iterate on those, or having things that other humans have made with AI too, and use those as a starting points too, and then adapt them to your brand, to your needs. I think that's where it gets really interesting, where like AI is not just doing everything, but it's used as any other tool.
So, for those who don't know, Lumi is a huge collection of AI generated images and also tools for creating those images as well. How did you see the interaction between the creators you had that were creating stuff with AI, but was destined for people to look at it and see it and use it, versus the actual experience of people creating their own imagery on Lumi?
I'm surprised at the output of and the stuff that they ask from the AI to generate things that, I mean, in Canva you must see this all the time. Like you see your tool that maybe you were thinking, oh, we created this tool to do this stuff. But then you see people hacking it to do other things. And I think when you see that from your users, it it feels just like magic, because like suddenly, yeah, because you create something, you create a tool, and you create it for a specific problem, and maybe, yeah, you could broaden those problems, right? And your imagination, and you say like, oh, it can also do that, this and this other thing. But it's not until you put it in the hands of people where you see using a hammer to do crazy stuff, where like, no, hold on, that hammer is just for nails. No, 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 no. We can use it for all these other things. And when you see people using asking from the diffusion models from our generators to create things that are weird, and that you start seeing like the flow that they go through, where they start with something simple, but then it starts getting weird, and then suddenly the end result is very different from where it started. And for me, it's just like, wow, it's just this tool that allows creativity to grow, which is
Yeah.
something also that I'm sure that you see every day in Canva. Just like people, hey, here's a canvas, and here's some tools, here's a text and a rectangle, and the basic tools, and then people create crazy stuff, right?
That is exactly right. Like, I've been creating creative tools for 25 years now. And the reason that I've stayed so energized over those 25 years is exactly that. When you create this tool that's simple enough for people to access, but really powerful enough for them to express themselves in a way
Oof.
that they couldn't before, it fuels this massive explosion of creativity. And I see the exact same thing with AI. It is this simple tool, but it is incredibly powerful, and people can shape it in their own unique way and get outputs that they couldn't imagine and other people couldn't have imagined. And that's really what drives us to keep creating better and better products every single day.
With AI, it feels like that creative process. Sometimes it feels like on steroids. It accelerates, and a lot of things that, for me, for example, as a creative, sometimes my creations are limited to my abilities. know, and the things that I have lazily tried, and I'm like, okay, this is sometimes when people say like, oh, now you have your style. No, I'm just lazy and I never develop another style.
Yeah.
That's also one answer to that question. But now with AI, I can explore other things that I thought I wouldn't be able to ever even explore. It unlocks different things uh, that number one that I didn't want to do. Also, it's like
Mhm.
understanding contracts and all the little details. But AI can help me understand all those things and all that language. So great, and suddenly that also unlocks me time to do the things that I really like, and not only that, but also those things that I really love, like amplify them.
There's this great quote that I heard you say on another podcast, actually. And you said that AI makes volume, taste makes value. And I think that is such a powerful line. What is one tip that you would give to those looking to cultivate taste in an AI first workflow?
Taste is a skill that you have to develop, and it's sometimes it's a skill that comes with privilege too, because hey, it's a skill that comes from traveling and being able to go to a museum and have time to do those things, and reading, and suddenly your worldview starts developing and you start like seeing things in a different way, not just in a very small worldview, but you start expanding. You start like realizing that there are other things. You start seeing the connections between things, and that develops that eye that we call sometimes oh, that person has the eye. But sometimes when they say, hey, they have the eye, that means they they can distinguish something that stands out, and they can distinguish from a lot of things that they feel better. And that is something that you could say that is also subjective, but it's really something that it, when you see it, you feel it, and it feels good. And having the ability to detect that is something that will help anyone who is using AI, because AI can do a lot of stuff. It can do volume and it can do it really quick and can give you all the different options. But taste will allow you to know what to ask from it. Will like having, even if you just read a couple of books, suddenly you're going to start referencing things that you read there, or that the the I don't know, like an exhibition that you saw, or an artist that you like, or something from pop culture. You start referencing, telling those things to the AI, and it's seeing the connections of what is good and what is maybe not as good. And then you're able to select and pull from all the sometimes slop, the AI slop, pull the better thing. And not only that, but iterate and make it better too. Also with AI.
I love that you called out the privilege of taste, because taste is so much about experience and
Yeah,
opportunity and the ability to try new things, which, I think we're both fortunate to be able to do, and to be able to experience different styles and different mediums and different artistic expression. But I think it is important to kind of equalize that opportunity as
yeah,
well, and
yeah, yeah.
give people who mightn't be able to develop their taste the opportunity and the ability to do that through both products that we build, the ways that we think about the world, and also the way that we interact with other people.
Totally.
Following on from that question about taste, if AI makes volume, how do you think AI generated content will change things like social media or brand content?
Well, yes, they create volume, but you can also train them or guide them to create very specific things and create very personalized stuff. It can also be a little bit dangerous, because suddenly, if you get hyper personalized content that is just for you, that the little robots, since they have all the information about you, they have all this context that is you, on the things that you like, that make you click, that make you stay a little bit longer on the post. It could feel that your feed, your social media is crafted specifically for you. And that could be that maybe it's actually done that way. It's not just selection, but actually creation. I can totally see a future in which some of the content is you're the only person seeing that content. You're the only person, or the original content is being adapted in real time for your taste, for what you like, for your preferences, for maybe even for your goals, for what you're looking for in the moment. I would say that for right now, it might be very costly to do that, but with how things are evolving, it might be that we get to that point where suddenly your feed is not just a selection from a lot of things that are just specific for you, but actually they are iterated to be for you, like generated potentially even from scratch, just to be something that is for you. So that is a future that I see that this, and also brand. I can totally see uh, an ad talking to you and talking to you in your language and in the things that you understand that are important to you, which is, I say it, and it's also kind of scary. That suddenly, I don't know if you remember, I think it was Minority Report, that
Yeah.
suddenly the ads would like actually tell their name.
Yeah.
So
Walking through the perfume aisle, and it's talking exactly to you about the scent that you want.
Exactly. And it's just like a very hyper personalized ad, knows your name, detects your face. I mean, in that movie, it was kind of a dystopia thing. So, but I think there are positives about that too. I can see hyper personalized content that is for you on education, that the things that are interesting to you and that are important to you for you want to learn this skill, but also you have an interest in something that maybe is not that you think that is not related to that skill, but we know that knowledge is better. I don't know, gets impregnated in our brain, and just when you start making connections between things. So if some of that content that you're trying to learn Python, let's say, uh, but learn Python is hard. But you really love, I don't know, baseball. So I'm pretty sure that AI could make a relationship between those two interests that you have. One that is maybe more on the professional side, and maybe another one that is more on the just personal hobby thing, and then make the connection between those things. And now you're going to be able to learn Python better because of that, and potentially also see baseball in a different way too, and see the patterns and the systems.
There is massive opportunity in learning with AI and this hyper
Yeah,
personalization that you're talking about. But
yeah.
what you're talking stirred something for me. So, I mean, taste is about experience, but it's also about experiences that you might necessarily enjoy. Yes, you should try out things that you love, but taste is also about experiencing things that make you think, that might confront you. And part of that is about friction. So if AI is serving us everything we like all the time, and AI creation is about removing friction from our processes through automation, how does this affect the creative process? Because the creative process often involves friction, competing ideas, different
Mhm.
points of view, different personalities and opinions coming together. You get constructive criticism about ideas that you put forward. How are we going to do this in the age of AI?
Right now, we're in this stage in which the LLMs, all these things, they're trying really hard to please us. you know, it's almost like they never give you that friction that you're talking about. They always, like, if you have a bad idea, it will still tell you it's a good idea. Even if it's a crap idea, it's just like, wow, that is an amazing idea. Let's just develop it. And you're right. Like when you are with other people, you if you have a bad idea. If they're really good friends, they will tell you that's a crap idea. That's not a good idea. Stop it. But usually, that friction makes you think. It's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, it is. But then what about this or what about that? So I wish sometimes that LLMs or other models were made in a way that potentially have a slider or something that's the friction slider or like the sycophant slider, like going into a design review. At least it used to be. You will fear going to a design review because they will tell you, like, this is horrible, But also that helps you learn, like if you had a good mentor and someone to tell you, like, yeah, that's horrible, but told you why it's horrible, then you understand. It's like, okay, well, my feelings are hurt, but you know what? I I think I'm a better designer now. I'm a better creative now because of your feedback. And I feel sometimes that AI doesn't do that.
At the moment, it feels like AI interactions are concentrating. So you'll tend to go to ChatGPT, or you'll tend to go to Claude, or you might go to Copilot, and that's your primary means of interaction. But what you're saying makes me think that maybe there's space for different AI bots in your life, ones that have different personalities, that tackle problems in different ways. And you go to them when you want to tackle a visual problem, or you want to tackle something that's more personal or more
Yeah.
professional. And we'll go to different places to get different things.
Actually, we created this. We never launched it, but we had a portfolio reviewer. It was an AI thing, and we put it for an event, but we never put it out there. We should have. But something we did is that it was kind of I don't know if in Australia you have something like this, like America's Got Talent or like shows like
Yes.
that.
Yes, we do.
Where there's like the judges, and each judge has a different personality, and one of them will be the really nice one, like you tried, that is good. And then one of them will be the more not so nice, So you have those personalities, and sometimes it's good to have that one that is really honest and it's raw and it's blunt and tells you, no, that sucks. What are you doing? Get out of here. You have no talent. But even when we asked it to be that way, it was still blunt, but still kind of nice. It was like, no, just be an a-hole. It's okay.
Which one were you training, Pablo? Were you the nice one or the nasty one?
Whenever I'm in design reviews or something, I always volunteer to be the Simon Cowell one. I don't know if in Australia you have a Simon Cowell character.
We did used to have a Simon Cowell. We've actually kind of softened our talent shows. They're mostly positive, but I do remember a distinctly Simon Cowell personality.
Yeah, exactly. So I would always volunteer. You need drama in this, so I will volunteer to be that a-hole.
You've just started a new role as a senior product designer, or I can't remember your title. It's very lofty, but designer at Vercel for
Correct.
AI products. And it focuses a lot on vibe coding, which so many people are talking about now. What's been your experience with vibe coding as a creative and as a designer, and where do you think it's going?
First of all, I brought my vibe coding glasses.
And now we're vibe coding, okay. Yes.
These glasses, I didn't bought them. Like they just appear on your desk when you become a professional vibe coder. They just appear and it's like, oh, I'm a vibe coder now. And then you put them on and then
okay.
you just...
You need to wear these for the rest of the show.
No. I think, so before it was even called vibe coding, I was doing it, but I was doing it more in what I knew. My skill level has always been on coding, just like HTML, vanilla JavaScript, and CSS. Not so great in modern tech stacks. That's what I knew. So I would usually go with tools like ChatGPT, and I would do a lot of copy pasting, from that to my like code pen and stuff. So it would be like prototypes, and I would show them I would use them as design artifacts to tell my idea. Whereas like, hey, I have this idea, and you know what? Here's the idea in a way that you can click it, that goes beyond just a static design. It feels good to actually do the animation and do the timing and all those little details that really until you're actually doing it with code. You start understanding all the edge cases too.
Yeah.
So as a designer, that suddenly I had the ability to have those design artifacts, to like tell my story or tell what I thought we should do with this thing where you could actually try it. So started like that. But by now, these things have gotten so good that now I am a contributor to Lumi, like in the actual code, not a prototype anymore, but I have built two different features and I have pushed them. Well, with the help of developers, by the way, like real developers have helped me and reviewed my PRs. A lot of it is just they they can see all the AI slop there, all the spaghetti code that sometimes comes from vibe coding. So if you're doing that, you need real engineers to help you actually clean up the stuff. But they have helped me to actually push stuff. And it's really good because, again, a lot of little details that you wish sometimes to do. And as a designer, it's hard to describe them and it's hard to prototype them in a static design tool,
Yeah.
because it's all about like clicking and dragging. And then I was doing one that is like a gradient tool, but I wanted to add like key modifiers, which is some key modifiers that are with click and drag, which would be super hard to like simulate that. But doing it with code, that allowed me to actually test it in a way that I could see the animations and see the interaction and feel it and deploy it and ship it. And so it has been a great unlock for me that I feel proud of myself, even though most of the code was done by the robot. I felt that I have actually learned a ton. One thing is vibe coding tells you like, oh, always accept whatever it says it's going to do, just say yes. If you want, I would say like, no, don't do that. Like actually ask it as the LLM always to first plan what it's going to do, uh, read the plan, and then, okay, do it. And then, or iterate and tell it what not to do. As the code was happening, I'll have a new idea. I was like, oh, it would be great to have this. Oh, it should be this. So it was like I was already doing a to-do list of the things that I will want to ask it. Oh, ¿qué pasó, hermosa? ¿Qué pasó, chiquito?
Special guest on the podcast.
Special guest here, Taco.
Who is this,
Taco's
Pablo?
here. This is Taco. Ven para acá, Taco. Come over here. Taco,
Hola,
I think
Taco.
Taco wants to vibe code too. I think that's what's happening. He wants
That's
to be
the
part of the
future.
show.
Vibe coding dogs.
That is the future. I think the results is going to be even better. Okay, hermoso, ahorita vamos.
It's interesting your observation of making that to-do list. It's this AI-driven vibe coding process has actually opened up time for us to think. So like while it's generating the code, you're now sitting back and thinking more deeply about the problem and coming up with new things that you want to add in. And I think that's a really fascinating insight into what this new world looks like. We're asking more questions, we're thinking more deeply about things, and then enabling exploration of them through the AI.
Yeah, and also you don't get married to a solution, because since you can try multiple things, then suddenly when you invest a lot of time doing something, then it's hard for you to say, what if we do it this other way? Because you have already invested a lot of time on coding something, So you say like, it's okay. Let's just keep it this way. Now with AI, like we can have that thinking, as you were saying, and be like, what if we try it with a different layout? Or what if we try with a different flow or whatever? And now you can, with the help of the little robots, you can also try other things and not get married to one solution.
Taco might be able to help you with this very last tiny but big question. What does the future of creativity look like? In 5 years' time, 10 years' time, what does creativity mean?
I see two things that it could be like the positive and the utopia version of this. And also the dystopia version of this. The dystopia version is like we just like delegate all creative tasks to a robot, which will be very sad. And I don't think that's going to happen. Actually, no, I do see it as like more of that utopia part where it's like, hey, no, we're going to be collaborating, and it's going to allow us to do more of what you were saying, of thinking and expanding the ideas that we had, and like allowing us to diverge from the original thing and try multiple things. So I believe that we're onto something. I want to think that it's going to be more of that, that AI unlocks a lot of things that we want to try, and it's not going to be more of, AI is replacing creativity in us, or the creative process in us humans. I don't want that to be. I don't think it's going to be that.
All right, let's change pace a little. I would love to know who you would have on your all-star creative team. So you get 4 seats. You can pick anyone from any era, any universe, dead or alive. Build your dream creative team. Who is it?
Oh my God, this is such a cool question. Here's the thing: the names that come to mind, I feel like they would be big egos, and maybe they will not work really well as a team.
Simon Cowell? Is Simon Cowell on your creative team?
No, I mean, I see Picasso. I see Pablo Picasso. Like, I can see him maybe not being such a very good team player. Uh, maybe I'm wrong about his personality, but I would say, hey, let's bring Pablo Picasso. Let's give him a seminar on how to be a teammate. All of them separately, maybe. I would say also, I love Saul Bass. He's a great designer.
Amazing.
And I think he's someone who inspire us all. Like, it's incredible to see his work and the stuff that they were able to do, and know that they were not doing it with digital tools. It's like, how do you do that? So it's all boss. I would say also a filmmaker. I will bring Paul Thomas Anderson. He seems like someone is a director, but he loves music, and he seems to be working with other graphic artists, and he's just like always creating really cool stuff. So Paul Thomas Anderson, and I would bring Pee Wee Herman. Pee Wee Herman,
okay, off the wall
character. Yeah, like he will make it fun, and also I don't know. I think he will bring the vibe closer to a fun state. Maybe Pablo Picasso will not like Pee Wee Herman, but I think it will make it for a good reality show, too. Like a Pee Wee Herman and Pablo Picasso not getting along.
So you got Pablo, yourself, you've got Pablo Picasso, you've got Pee Wee, you've got Paul. That's like 4 P's there. Saul's gonna feel like he's left out.
I hadn't realized that. Wow. Yes. There you go.
Okay, I think Alvin has had enough time to feed your sketch into AI and work with it just a tiny bit. So let's bring him back to see the final results of this human AI human collaboration. Alvin, show us what you got.
So I created a short animation as a tribute to your art style, Pablo. And your robot sketch really reminds me of Adventure Time's BMO. And I was also inspired by when you mentioned the Jetsons. So I just wanted to imagine how cartoon artists back then would design a robot character, Alex, waking up in the morning and getting ready for a hard day of work. So please enjoy this short animation.
Oh my God, I'm so excited, Alvin. You've incorporated everything.
So it wasn't just like just another image. He made an animation. Wow.
Can you see? I'm going to play.
You can, the countdown.
You see the clouds.
You've got Alex in there. You've got the robot. It's fully
I do not
moving.
hallucinate. I love it. I do good work. Oh my God.
And the soundtrack. Could it get any better? Amazing, Alvin. I don't know how you did that.
Thank you so much. That was so cool, Alvin. Like that you made that. Like it's such a short time. Wow.
I'm really glad you both liked it.
Audio listeners, if you want to see this creation, and you definitely should, just click the link in the show notes and you'll be able to watch it there. All right, we've got very few minutes left, Pablo, so we need to close it out with some rapid fire questions. All right, let's go. What's one prompt you overuse?
Thoughts?
Thoughts? Just thoughts. Okay.
Thoughts? Yeah, like hey, here's all my stuff, and then at the end, thoughts.
Perfect. What's the first thing you built with AI?
Oh, actually, a game, a little game for a project that we had. But it was more of a prototype. But yeah.
Love it. Favorite underrated AI tool?
Whew. Okay, I don't know if it's underrated, but it's one of my favorite, and I don't see a lot of people mention it. But Descript.
Nice.
For video stuff, it's been helping me a lot, and it's been amazing to also see their evolution as a tool.
Yeah, it's an amazing one. Sum up AI in just one word.
Oh man, I don't know why, but this is the only word that comes to mind. Scary.
All right, we'll take it. You and AI are making an album. What's the genre?
Punk rock.
Nice. Pick a movie to remake with AI.
The Room.
Oh, brilliant answer. What's one job AI should never do?
Politics.
What is a creative project you've had in the back of your mind for ages that you just want to jumpstart with AI?
Well, I'm doing it now. Is that okay if I'm already starting?
That's fine. You're living the dream, Pablo.
A card deck game.
Card deck game. All right.
Yeah.
Very last one. Finish this sentence. A surprising thing AI taught me about myself is...
I depend on it.
Codependent relationship. All right. We'll take that. And that's it. That is all we have time for. Thank you so much for diving deep with me on AI and creativity, Pablo. It has been an absolute pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah. This was awesome.
That was such a fun conversation with Pablo Stanley and his vibe coding dog, Taco. What I loved most was his reminder that curiosity beats fear when it comes to all things, but particularly AI. To foster that curiosity, start small, try things, and you'll see how quickly the tools have evolved. He also nailed it with the idea that AI makes volume, but taste makes value. At the end of the day, it's our human eye and judgment that will elevate our work, no matter what tools we're using. And maybe most importantly, creativity isn't always about ease. Sometimes friction, feedback, and even a bit of pushback are what help us shape the best ideas. Thanks again to Pablo for joining us, and thank you for listening to Prompted. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and as always, keep creating.